All right, let's try and shoot this video. I've been sitting here for an hour trying to get the darn camera to stop sweating. You know, you can see the car. I mean, it is, I had the car inside in the air conditioning. But man, it is some kind of special humid out here today. But let's do this. I haven't done this in a while. I feel like I don't even know how to use the darn camera. So I feel like I got my life back in order, so now I can start to mess around again. Start to play with simple stuff, maintaining stuff, which is kind of most of what my videos normally are, is just maintaining. And so now I need to figure out, you know, what's the best washing procedure and getting set up here at the house. But I've been driving the E36 around. You can see I got some brake dust on here, and the car's all dirty from the rain the other day. So I think it's time to get it cleaned up and chat you up, because I haven't been out here in a while. Let me get my wheel cleaner here. Got my shelves installed. Starting to get all the little nitty-gritty things that I've been working toward getting done, getting my life together. I've moved too many darn times in the last couple of years, so it's been a bit of a process to get things organized. I've only washed this car a couple of times, so I haven't really figured out or built a really good procedure for cleaning it, so I need to figure out what works here. I still like this idea of modifying. So this is the Detail Factory handle with a cut and modified, and put a Increda brush pad on it. It actually works pretty well, because the regular Increda pad or Increda brush thingy has this one. It's kind of floppy in comparison. Let's see if we can sneak this in here. Not a lot of room between the caliper. So the E36 is on the road. You know, I've been driving it around. I'm working on my own problems with driving. I feel like I'm starting to finally feel like I'm ready to make a transition from driving around this 3-mile radius to driving wherever the heck I want to drive to. That would be awesome. So I've got some work on this thing. I don't know, what do you think? I had the BBSs, but those BBSs were so aggressive, they just weren't going to work. It was just too much effort to try to get them to fit, so I sold those to Sean PSI. And just with the suspension, the size of the shock on this Olin's TTX, which is amazing, by the way. The car just feels so good. Looks like the camera's done fogging up, so that's good. These wheels are really easy to clean, but I don't know. I want something that fits nicely. These are kind of boring. They look good, but something about it just isn't getting me excited. Like they're just okay. I don't want just okay if I'm going to have this thing. The other problem is I got too much camber. I'm at like negative 2.8, and I can't get any less. So we've got to figure that out. I'm gonna talk to Barry and at 3DM and see if I can get. We got to come up with some kind of solution to get less camber. These have Vorschlag camber plates and a full custom setup. But you know, I mean, look at this. I mean, I've got just the thing looks broke. So I don't know. What do you think? Should I do Apex ARC 8s, ARC 8s? The great thing about those is I can get them whatever offset I want. You know, trying to get BBS LMs or something like that just isn't. I'm done with BBS. the BBS stuff just doesn't freaking work. They don't make offsets that are any good. And I don't want to fight it. I've been fighting it, fought it for a little while with these couple of sets of BBSs, and none of them, all three of them, none of them worked. The other question I have, you know, which I'm not sure the answer to, you know, driving this thing around, I've got this thing really, really nice. And, you know, everything vibrates, and like all the heaters, the air conditioning vents, they all click and clack. You know, it's a 25-year-old car. I need to come up in the rear too. So the suspension is great. It handles great. It drives great, nice and straight. Everything feels good, but I just don't like how it looks. I need to come up in the rear. I need to get the camber figured out in the front. Once I do that, then I can figure out what wheels I'm going to do. So on this old, stinky old car that's basically brand new, can I handle the oldness of it? You know, that's part of the charm for some people, but that's part of the nightmare for me. I don't know that I like that. This isn't fitting past the dust shield. So I still have, let's see, what do I have left to do on this thing? I've got the wheels and suspension to figure out. So the camber in the front, raise the rear. Brakes are great. I might bleed them one more time. I'm probably going to bed them one more time. And then I have to finish the stereo. You know, that Porsche Classic head unit just doesn't have any output. Doesn't have enough preamp output to really do well with at least the way that we set up the stereo. So it sounds terrible. So we need some more low-level voltage output in order to get that to function well. So we found a Sony head unit. So doing the same head unit I did in the Civic, the GS RSX GS9 or whatever it's called, RX9, GS9 or whatever. You know, the one that looks like a Sony ES receiver, like a home receiver. So we're going to do that, and then the stereo will be done. I've got to figure out the occupancy sensor for the seats. So I got the seats in. So the Speed 5s, those are in. I think they're decent. It's going to take a little bit for them to break in. I took the Vaders and I put those in my air-conditioned storage unit. And so those will sit there forever. We'll wrap them up, mummified them, wrap them up, and we'll keep them there. Yeah, I don't like this look. I probably am going to roll this fender. I got to put a radar detector in. And then I'm kind of playing with the exhaust to figure out what I do there. I'll probably just leave it alone. The car sounds great. Dynon intake, you can hear the induction noise. It has stock headers, stock mid-pipe, and then it has, what does it have? Boiler rear section. If you haven't seen it, I just made a video on that. Just did some basic flybys. But I am liking, other than the stinky oldness of this thing, I am liking it just feels good. The car has, I'm gonna switch this. I don't like the chrome license plate. The car just has some. I just like the power band of this. I know these get a bad rap because the American version doesn't have as much horsepower as the European version. But, you know, it revs nicely. It sounds good. You know, I've never had an E36. I never even driven an E36 until I got this one. You know, I just always had a desire to have one because, you know, when I was 14 years old, 13 years old when these came out. And then really fell in love with them in my 20s or late teens. And so the car is nice. I mean, I like the way it drives. I like the way it delivers power. It doesn't feel, other than the kind of clickety-clacketiness of the dash and things, it doesn't feel super old to me. Like the Civic felt so, having had the Civic when I was in my, in that same age is the car that I had. It just felt too cheap. This doesn't feel cheap to me. It feels old, but not cheap. And of course, this thing looks great. It just looks amazing. Just gotta get the wheels figured out. I didn't realize how complicated it was with these cars. They don't have a lot of, it's not like an E92 where you can fit all kinds of wheels on it. There's only certain things that fit. But I'm really going to enjoy it when I get the stereo set up. The other night I went out, did a little driving therapy, and I put the sunroof down, windows down. It's going to be awesome when it cools off here in the winter and spring. Well, we got the steering rack, the ZHP steering rack makes a world of difference on this thing. It feels, the steering feels great. Even though, I've got all that camber, it makes it handle really well. The car's pretty sticky. And so next step, the biggest project I've got to do is polish it. So it still has whatever coating was on it when I bought it, but I'm going to do some serious polishing to this thing, which I'll probably do. I'm going to the mountains twice, so I'll probably do that when I get back. Do a whole series on old school Maddie series of rage polishing. This car's kind of a different feel though, because I don't have aspirations to sell it unless I just don't like it. After I've spent more time with it, even though I've had it for a year and a half, I haven't really had it because it's been at shops and getting things done and torn apart. And so like this week is for this last couple of weeks, it's been the first time, this week, because we got it back from alignment. It's the first time I've actually really owned the car. So if I were to do this again, I would focus. I wouldn't do it this way where I had 4 or 5 different cars going at once and it was miserable. I would just get a car. Like if I did an air-cooled Porsche, I would just do that. Focus on it. Get it done. But I'm inclined, if I did an air-cooled Porsche someday, I'm inclined to buy it, not build it. Buy one that somebody put all the work into, and I would just simply put my touches on it. But I like this idea of doing it this way, where I, little bug there, where I haven't polished it. You know, I always do this where I get a car and then I polish it, and then I don't. Then I'm tearing it apart and always fingering it, messing it up. So I like the way I did it this time, where I left. So I think the way to do it would be to like do like power lock Cullinite on it, like I always say I'm going to do and then I never do. And not worry about polishing it right away. Do all the modifications and stuff, and then do the finishing touches with polish and paint correction and perfecting it. And so we're gonna do that more often on cars. So the M2 giveaway should start here soon. The problem with the car, so the reason why you haven't seen the M2, you haven't really seen any cars because I've been focused on painting, boring crap, getting the outdoor kitchen done, getting the yarn building organized, and just, you know, when I went to Helen, I just really enjoyed that completion, and it reminded me that I'm at my best when I'm finishing and when I'm tweaking, you know, working toward perfection rather than chaos. I'm just not. That's part of the reason why I can't really drive, because I'm just so wound up and so worried about everything. And so I think that I know that the best way for me to move forward is to have less influx and more, so less things that I'm obsessed about. So having less things so that I can be obsessed about those things, which I really do like, which sounds ridiculous, like who would want to be obsessed? Well, I do. That's my happy place. And so having less things that are going on at once means that I can then focus and really enjoy the process. Because, you know, I got into this dream where, you know, part of what's always held me back is I didn't have enough money to buy all the things that I wanted to buy. And so part of the fun was, you know, waiting for UPS to show up with whatever package I'd ordered. It's been that way my whole life, you know, waiting for my new skateboard to arrive or something like that has always been the fun for me. All right, let's rinse this thing off. The sun is about to get me here. So we're gonna have to just wash it and then we'll pull it into the really dreary, dark garage because I still don't have my lights yet. So, you know, OG, my entire life and business philosophy at the moment is 100%. Get to 100%. That's what we are laser focused on. And so for the first time ever, I really let go. Well, that looks cool. I really let go of the worrying about videos, worrying about inside the hex, so that now I can focus on it instead of focusing on too many projects. So when my G80 shows up, I can hopefully drive it from the Performance Delivery Center to Helen. When my GT3 Touring shows up, hopefully I can really be excited about it instead of dreading it. And so, you know, we have these two cars. I have the E36 and the E92. Can't really drive very far anyway, so putting miles on them, whatever. I don't care. I bought them to drive them. And so I've been focused on completing these 2 cars so that way I can just do what I love doing, which is to maintain them. You know, I like the modifying because of the results that you see at the end, but what I really like is this. I like washing them and just keeping them clean and tweaking little issues. Chasing perfection instead of focused on not done, not done, not done. I have to do this, need to do this, need to do that. The needs. The needs are the things that send me off the frickin' deep end. So I'm gonna wash this thing. I'm gonna go for a drive. Do some GSF. Do a quick wash and then we'll pull it in. We'll dry it off. We'll go for a drive. Maybe we'll actually get wash and drive done. Start making those videos. If I wasn't fumbling with the darn camera, I wouldn't be battling your son here. So the other thing I've been focused on is back to fit. I'm still fat, but I'm fit, which is probably better for me to be a little bit chubby, but a lot of bit fit. Let me get the bucket set up here. I figure out little annoyances like that, like in the summer. The reason why I don't want to open up the garage is because it's so freaking hot and humid and it'll take all day for the air conditioning. Oh my gosh, the sun. It'll take all day for the air conditioning to catch back up. So I think the way to do this would be to get up 30 minutes earlier. Actually, I was up at an appropriate time, started at 7, but I was messing with the camera for 45 minutes. Trying to get the stupid condensation out of it. Almost needed to get up and bring the camera and set it outside at like 6 and let it acclimate. So, anyway, I've been obsessing less about eating exactly perfect because I go too far, I go too extreme, go unsustainable. So if I could just dial back to a little bit less, a little bit closer to moderation, then my fitness will outwork my eating. I feel pretty darn good. Hopefully I look a little better, but whatever. Katie Bell, you don't like this car?
No, let's see a galaxy in it.
A what?
Hey, a skating rink.
Oh, skating rink floor. Katie Bell doesn't like the E36. Oh yeah, I definitely don't want that. Dunkin' Donuts? Who the heck eats that? That's gross. So, as I was saying, see that, people? I didn't even do that for the camera. Really didn't want a donut. Yeah, this car's gonna be great when we get it polished. So the M2, anyway, I got sidetracked there. The M2 has been at PSI for a month. Apparently the car I bought, 3,000 miles, from a dealership, had been modified. The reason we know is that the wheels have been powder coated. The wheels are actually bronze and not black. And the exhaust valves weren't working. And so we couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. And so they tried to flash the ECU, and you can't, and which causes some issues. And so we've been trying to figure that out. And so it should be back this week. I can get started on the giveaway in a couple weeks. And we can get back to get the M2 moved on. I like it. I don't love it. The S55 is not a good engine for me. So what's the G80? The S58? Is that what it is? The G80 seems like it sounds a lot better. I wouldn't say the G80 sounds good. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with those hideous nostrils. And I wouldn't be getting a G80 if it wasn't for the mountains. I just think that car's going to do well there for the people that borrow the house. And then, again, I want to be able to get a new one every year or so. For a myriad of reasons, for the project, for the fun, for the experience, for all of the above. And so the G80 I bought is the same color as this. Kind of cool. And I did a bunch of digging, and I think I'll probably, just for the simplicity of it, at least for now, I'm going to do all of my rental stuff through Turo. I didn't really understand how it worked, but you can set up a Turo commercial account and you can choose your level of coverage. The one thing that I didn't realize, which is a kind of a scam job by Turo, when you buy insurance on the car, you're double buying insurance, because no matter what, the cost of repair falls on the owner of the car, which would make sense. And so when you buy like the premium protection package, it still falls back on the owner of the car to pay their deductible, or it falls back on whatever level of coverage that Turo requires the owner of the car to have. And so what I'm going to set up is you have the option to do 60% payout, 70% payout, 80% payout, 90% payout, something like that. And so I'm going to choose the 90% payout. When you have a 90% payout, you have a $2,500 deductible, and then they'll cover up to $200,000 worth of your car, worth of damages or something like that. And so the amount of times we're going to have damages that I'm even going to file a claim is going to be very minimal, if ever, hopefully. And if I did, I'm just taking on that risk. Really, I want the liability coverage. And so I think I'm going to roll with Turo for a while until I get a bunch of vehicles. If I get a bunch of cars and I have a bunch of properties, then it might make more sense for me to build a rental company. All right, we made it okay with our sunlight. Now I can pull it in and dry it off. We'll blow it off out here, I think. I don't have the garage. The garage, I'm going to finish painting today and tomorrow. I've got a little bit of organization left to do with tools. So I've got all the 3/4 inch drive stuff to get out of here. Once I do that, we ordered my list of cabinets. They won't be here for months. So the list of stuff will come. When that comes, I'll be ready for it because I'll have the lights done and we'll really focus in on that. I got to figure out a better solution for that. I got my ear protection. All right, let's pull it in. We'll blow it off a little better. Deal with the buckets afterwards. Gosh, it's dark in here. Wow, it's hot out here. It's like special hot. Man, it's dark in here. Shoot. All right, let's keep blowing this thing off. Hit the rotors with some rust inhibitor. Some hides rust stopper. Finish this. God, lighting in here is terrible. Holy moly, it's bad. Have you ever seen anything like this? It's so bad. Maybe I should take we got a little bit of light coming in from the window. Let's do it this way. I have my 24mm lens on, so I have to get kind of far away. So you can see, I got my shelves done. I got the pressure washer in, bucket filler's done. That whole wall's painted, the whole back wall's painted, the whole side wall's painted. All I have to do is paint this last section above the doors. I've got the cabinets in here, which are temporary till my list of stuff shows up. And I've got, this will be getting installed this week. I'll be doing the hood, we'll get the grill. I'm just waiting, we finished the concrete countertops, so I'm waiting to get the countertops, waiting for them to cure. So that way we can put the grill and the Evo together. Yeah, it's the house here is coming together. I was, if you saw my post on Instagram a while back, a couple weeks ago, I've actually found a house on the lake that it has 6 acres, but it's 6 acres of, so there's a front part where it's not really developed, or there's a front part that's developed where there's a 4,000, so it's a 40 by 100 foot garage, like right on the front when you drive in. And then there's woods. There's about 750 feet or 1,000 feet of woods where there's a driveway through the middle of it. And then there's the house. And the house is, you know, there's a 3-car and then an oversized 2-car plus a golf cart pull-through garage, which is amazing. So it has all this stuff. But the house is, the house layout, it's about 5,000 square feet altogether, but it's not like a 75-year-old couple built the house. in 2005, 15 years ago, 17 years ago. So it's not the right style, but it's on Lake Weir. And so it has 180 feet on the front of the lake, which you could make a nice, white sand beach. It's only 5 minutes from here, so it's really close to HQ. But it's financially not the right time. I just invested all this time and money in the Helen house. And yes, that is producing cash flow, but it's still losing money. Lose money for a while until I finish it. Might lose money forever. But it'll make money in the long run with product sales, or help with product sales. That house is perfect for what I want to do. It's just not the right time. So they're asking $2.5 million for it. It would cost $5 million to build that thing. And everybody always says, well, just buy the land and build the things. But yeah, the cost and this pressure and the risk of that is so much greater than just buying something and modifying it, even if it isn't right, even if it isn't perfect, which I think I enjoy that more anyway. But, it goes against this whole idea, my whole theme, my current theme of let's finish things. And so I'm not finished with this, and I'm about to blow it all up. It's just not the right thing. I can feel it. I'm so close to getting my mind right so I can start driving and enjoying the cars that I have and enjoying life more. So me going and doing something 2 years ahead of schedule is probably not the right thing to do. I know it's not the right thing to do, but I have a hard time of being patient in life. It's part of what's made Obsessed Garage work so well, but also part of what has made me not enjoy it as much as I could and should. So that's the conundrum. That's the everlasting pursuit of cool ideas. For me, I know I get a lot of flack for this. It's not about the pursuit of the stuff. I don't really care about the stuff. I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to explain, like what it is that fires me up about the pursuit of, the pursuit of something. It's really about, the pursuit gives me the ability to share, and the sharing is the fun part for me. It's probably not, if you were thinking of it from a glass half empty, it's not sharing, it's about showing. It's like the show off. And not the show off of the stuff, but the show off of what I've learned. I just love that. That's the drug. The drug for me is to be able to talk about, and that's what's so great about me and this camera, is to talk about the learning. There's no other way for me to do it. There's no one around here. It's very rare that I could sit down with a group of people and talk about this kind of stuff. And the other problem I have is that I want to keep talking because I'm so excited. And so that give and take relationship has always been a problem for me. And so I want to just give the information out. So that's why, YouTube and making videos has been such a fun experience for me. And I think that I've been rewarded with an appropriate amount of attention. Too much attention would be too much for me to handle. And so I've really honestly been very accepting of, people always say, you should have more subscribers, or you're not good because you don't have a lot of subscribers. That really doesn't bother me that much. In today's world, to have 300,000 people following you is not a lot in comparison to others. But if I'm not in this to compare to others, which I'm not, then none of that really matters or should matter. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't to me. The only thing I would like to sell more stuff, because, my goal in life is to be able to, like, if I wanted to buy that house because it was the right thing to do, like if I could do something with it and really create some benefit to myself and the world by sharing more projects and things like that, I would really love to have more success from a sales perspective, so that way I could chase things whenever the time felt. So, like, I really want a 997 GT3 RS, and they're $300,000, and I would love that $300,000 to not matter. And I know that sounds really pretentious and ridiculous, but I could get that car right now, but it would matter. It would be, there'd be some risk involved. It's just, that's a lot of money. And so I would love it, I'm sure we all would love it, to where you just buy whatever car whenever it makes, whenever it tickles your fancy, at whatever you got to pay to get it. So, like, I would love to have a 458 Speciale. I would love to be able to drive it wherever I wanted to drive it. And I'd love to be able to just say, well, they're $400,000 or $500,000. I guess they're now $600,000. So there'd be a point, I think, no matter how much money you have, where it's too much, where it just doesn't feel right. But I would love the ability to just buy whatever car I wanted. Okay, I really, really want a GT4 RS. What do I got to pay to get it and have it not matter? And I'm willing to do the work required to get there. And so that's part of the reason why I'm kind of slowing down a bit. I'm slowing down. I haven't bought anything since I got back from Helen, which is the first time ever. Like, I haven't bought any new products or projects or anything like that. And so if I can focus in on, like, I think our Milwaukee, presentation could be much better. I think that our pressure washing presentation could be much better. So if I can do some more actual focused selling, and not so much, not ramming down people's throats, but just telling people about things, teaching people about products. If I can spend more time doing that, if I do spend more time doing that, we will see more success, and I'll be able to get a 997 RS and a 458 Speciale someday. Someday, I'll be able to buy that house on the lake and turn that into Destination OG2. I'll be able to do those things without it being a crushing emotional risk that I just don't enjoy, So that's what I'm focused on here lately. So I took a little, not hiatus from YouTube, because we've still made videos, but I haven't focused on doing this stuff. This stuff here is the magic, me hanging out with you, sharing life stories, sharing trials and tribulations, sharing my thoughts, what I'm going to pursue next, what's top of mind, what I'm considering. I think this is, for me, it's where the magic is. Personally, emotionally, psychologically, I guess, not emotionally, but psychologically. So that's what I've been thinking about a lot. There's a lot of water that I gotta learn the quirks of every car has washing quirks. I gotta get the windows tinted on this too. So I'm going to Helen Thursday. I'm excited. Can't wait to go back. Going to Helen on Thursday. And then we're gonna do the I'm doing the outdoor gym. I'll do the outdoor heat in the winter sometime, maybe. So a few people have to be a little chilly when they get there. Right now, for the rest of the year, I'm leaving it at 5,500. So you can book a week if you want. I mean, a lot of next year's booked, but there's still quite a few weeks if you're flexible. Manny's taken over the role of dialing in the structure of it, and then Jennifer, who's there, is awesome. She's the kind of managing the property, and so she's going to take on some more responsibility. We had we had Jeff, so Jeff left, and not voluntarily, but Jeff needs to get out from behind the desk, and I didn't really have a spot for him that wasn't behind a desk, and so it seems like it's painful for me to let anybody go because he's a freaking awesome human, and I really enjoy his presence, but it just wasn't the right spot for him. Could tell he wasn't happy in the role. And I kept trying to make some roles to figure out, what's best for him. He needs to be out and about and doing stuff, and I don't really have a role for that. And so I made a decision for him, which I'm sure he wasn't super excited about, but that he needs to go, and needed it sort of an inflection point to go and find his calling, find the passion. Because I kept trying to create it for him, and that's not helpful. And so with anybody, at HQ, at OG, I've been so fortunate to find people who have figured out how they fit into the passion spectrum. And I think we're going to have more of this in the future as we get bigger, and as this, or not get bigger, but just as time goes on, if people haven't been, that work for me, that haven't been fortunate enough to kind of figure out where their spot is, where their passion is, we need to help people figure that out. And I invest a lot in them, and in getting them trained and sending them to coaching and things like that. And that kind of investment helps us either figure out, where they're headed, where they're best suited, or if there's a better place for them. And so I'm becoming much more mature in how I think about these things and how I handle those, because the tendency for me has been to just hang on, and it's just not the right thing for people as a leader to string them along if this isn't the right spot. You know what I'm saying? So, but I saw Jeff. I haven't talked to him, but I saw that he found. I think that's a good spot for him. I saw where he landed at a was it 777 Auto Works or something like that. I hope for him that he's out and about. I can just tell that he needs to go places and do events and things like that. That's what he's destined for. And I don't have that plan. We've done some events and things like that, but I'm going to be making videos and staying home, if you will. The few events that we've done are not fun for me. I'm kind of sitting tight with the staff that I have. And like I said, I'm slowing things down a bit so that we can speed up in the future. Plus, I do think we're headed for a pretty nasty time. I think we're headed for a pretty deep, dark time, and economically. We have another couple of years of just brain dead. I've never understood, like, the old man, think about your grandparents be complaining about whatever, Jimmy Carter or Ronald Reagan or something like that, or I just can't. I can't believe how ridiculously stupid what we've created or what we've allowed in the U.S. And it really stinks because now I have a lot of means and a lot of capability, and they're going to tax us to death. And it's just so stupid. It makes no sense. Never, not once in history has tax and spend ever worked. It just doesn't. It's so stupid. What have I quoted Gary Vee saying that if you think who's president matters to you and your success in your future, you're a moron or something like that, or you're a loser. And so I 100% agree with that I spend zero time focused on policy and caring and woe is me and complaining. Instead, I'm focused on action. What am I going to do action-wise? It's so funny. We start collecting sales tax because we have to. Shopify, the whole Wayfair versus state of North Dakota, and then that set a precedent, and then they took, the states took down Amazon, and so everybody's collecting sales tax now. And so most companies still aren't collecting it, when you sell things state to state. And we are, and so we're doing the right thing, getting it set up, and then these states, they punish, they're so stupid because they're run by idiots. They punish the companies that are doing the right thing because those are the only ones that they know how to get. And so the companies that aren't paying, they don't know, and they don't have anything set up to go get them. So they try to squeeze more out of the ones that are. It's so stupid. It costs so much money, it's so inefficient, such a disaster. You're just getting taxed to death. And then these morons talking about green initiatives and climate change. So stupid. Clearly, you innovate your way out of. There's no freaking climate crisis. Those are people in cities that haven't been to the woods. Yes, we're headed towards more efficiency. Yes, we should have, we should invest in our infrastructure and our power grid. But no, we should not be investing in wind power. That's stupid. It's not going to work. We should be investing in, natural gas production to get us toward improved efficiency in solar, improved efficiency in, and what we should be doing is doing massive investment in nuclear power. It's so freaking stupid. And so instead, we've got these freaking morons ruining everything. They're ruining the whole thing. There's nothing we can do about it. So all we can hope, we just have to hope that we just have to hope that goofball Donald Trump doesn't run again. I hope, gosh. There's something to be said about the dorks, that care so much about somebody like, Donald Trump as a, why do you care? The losers who can't just let it go. Like if Trump just kept his mouth shut and just ran, normal business policies, we'd be in great shape. But he can't do that. And then we have to hear from all the frickin' crybaby losers, the Peloton Democrats. They can't just ignore the guy and let them do the policy stuff. Because Trump is not a Republican. He's a opportunist. And so if you want America to be powerful, you have to have an opportunist run it. And so we need to not have Trump because the Democrat babies won't let it go. They love to fight online. Not in real life, but in online they love to fight. And so it just becomes a whole. I would much rather make that compromise. All right, look, no Trump because he's a freaking psycho. No Trump, no Trump. Please do not run. I just want to see somebody Ron DeSantis would be a fantastic president. No nonsense. Guy's a frickin' attorney. He was an attorney in the Navy, right? I think. So really smart guy. No nonsense. Doesn't take crap from the frickin' crybaby losers. That'd be awesome. Understands that tax and spend doesn't work and is a moderate. It'd be frickin' amazing to have someone intelligent, an intelligent moderate. Thank goodness the 80-year-old guard, those people are going to be dead soon. And hopefully we never end up with another policy like nonsense policies from COVID and all that crap. It'd be so good. So anyway, none of that's going to happen, and so we're stuck. And so I'm nervous about the future of taxation and the ending result of all of you, my customers, and how all of us will be affected, which will then hurt all of our prospects economically for the foreseeable future. And so that is so problematic that I need to be making intelligent decisions from a investment and a risk-taking perspective. So buying a big fancy house that I want to convert into Destination OG2 right now is probably not advisable because our sales will very likely slow because of ridiculous policies that are going to mess everything up. And those ridiculous policies are a simple, direct result of a bunch of frickin' crybabies who couldn't just hate somebody so much in spite of themselves. I just can't relate to that. So now we're screwed with a dead man. It's just frustrating. So anyway, all we can hope for, no frickin' Trump. We have to hope that, I think we have to hope that Biden hangs on for another couple of years and doesn't die, because the alternative is even worse. And we have to hope that the economy doesn't completely collapse and that Rome doesn't fall. But if Rome does fall, it creates opportunity for those that capitalize, for those that are able to. The problem is selling and chasing luxury goods when there's not a lot of luxury to be had is not a good strategy. So I don't know what the heck to do other than to just have faith in the system. So what I'm getting at here is I don't waste any time. So this is, I'm sure that many of you political dorks are going to get all bent out of shape about my comments here. I'm not speaking politically. I'm just speaking about, I'm speaking more to the, what do you do? Like, how do you react? So I'm speaking more from a business perspective and a life perspective. What do you do career-wise? What do you do life-wise? What decisions do you make to react to the idiocy of the current, if you will? What do you do about that? Let me just wipe the excess dressing off here and wrap up the video. And I think what you do is you just try to stay lean, mean, and try to slow down a bit. And so I think I chased growth appropriately to this point. And now I think I need to continue to do what I'm doing, which is to chase perfection on things, which will slow me down. And that slowing me down will react will be an appropriate or a correct reaction to the plight that we are very likely headed towards. And I hope that my prediction here is wrong. So I think the moral of the story here, and it's always been my pursuit, is to care very little about what others are doing. And so you see politically, generally, Democrats focus on their opponent, where the Republicans focus on trying to steal as much money as possible from the world, that the loser tends to focus on their opponent much more, and that's all they tend to do. So, how did I get on this subject? Talking about the business and the future of it. I'm going to keep chasing cool stuff. I'm going to keep chasing, perfecting. And I think that we're getting closer to the point to where I need to start focusing on perfecting the stuff that I've created. And so perfecting the car that I have by perfecting, and while I'm perfecting the car that I have, instead of focus on the car that I could get, if I focus on the car that I have, and then when I run out of things to do in perfecting that car that I have, then I could focus on the car to go get. And while I'm doing that, I'm focusing on the process, on the pressure washer, on the stool, on the bucket, on all the things, on the polishing process, and sharing that with you, focusing on the garage and the organization of it, and how, like, dealing with the hose coming out the door and solving those little problems. So if I focus on solving little problems, it will create an even better version of the curated product line that I love so much, and that will also slow me down to react to what I believe to be the potential doom and gloom in the current future. And so if I do that with you and I share that with you, I'll also hopefully be less stressed out and less, psychologically damaged and unable to drive and go to the doctor and be in panic too much. I'll probably be fitter and less in better shape because I'll have more time to focus on that because I'm not chasing so hard. And so the general philosophy is 100%. Do things 100%. Slow down to speed up. And so that's what I'm focused on at the moment. And I feel really good. I feel the best I've felt in years, physically, mentally, and selling a bunch of cars, I think was an appropriate thing to do. I made a bunch of money on those cars, or at least got my money back for the first time, not lost a bunch of money. I got to have those cars and experience and play with those cars for a while. And so having two cars at the moment, because the M2 doesn't really count, has been fulfilling. I'm really enjoying these. I'm enjoying going out and driving this thing. I'm enjoying hey, there's something I need to tweak. Let me pull it in the garage and fix it. Let me take the time to make a video and wash it. And so I think that the combination of where the world seems to be headed with, where our business is, and so I can focus on the pursuit of the future. And I think the future is really bright, for what it is we're doing. And the future is really bright for the young, talented people that, work with me and for me, and for you, the viewer here, you guys that are watching this. So anyway, didn't mean to get so deep on you here today, but just what we do, just sit and chat about what's on top of mind. I'm going to do a wash knock on the E92. I'll probably do that either tonight or tomorrow night. Just keep focused. I've got some exhaust videos coming. There's probably one up before this video. And thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. There's some Helen content coming, going up there to build some stuff. So I know a lot of you like that. Update on the house and what that looks like, building the home theater there, building the gym there. We're focused on some hiking there, doing some vlogs. It's going to be fun. So lots of cool videos coming, and I appreciate you being here. We'll see you probably tomorrow.